Good evening. Welcome to another, actually VRML Pioneer Cup Day 2 for the NA bracket. Obviously, this is the first of many tournaments that we do have going on for VRML. Today, we'll have an exciting set of games. Everything's to be round robin at this point over the next course of, I believe, about 3 or 4 hours, right? These are the reminder, we're day 2 now, so these are gonna be the top 8 teams that have advanced on from the Swiss style bracket that had happened yesterday. Right, and for rules, it's gonna be the best of 5 in a round robin style. But anyways, my name is Martini, and today I have a RetroCat in the casting booth with me. How are you doing today, Retro?
Hello, everybody. I'm RetroCat. I'm doing really wonderful today. We are in the finals, the nitty-gritty of this tournament. 8 of the best teams, eight, I think. 8 of the best teams competing in this round robin tournament. It's going to be fun here with with these teams competing. I don't know who's going to win, but whoever's going to win is going to get that $1,000. And just imagine, Martini, how many ice creams you could buy with that.
Yeah, that's a good amount. I will say there's a small asterisk there. So the total prize pool for the Pioneer Cup is 1,000, but it will be split between the different regions. So I believe the NA side, whoever ends up winning today, we'll get a portion of that. I'm not sure the exact portion. It depends on the team splits here, so it might be a lot different than we had originally a couple weeks back, because I know there's this is a part 2, right, of the Pioneer Cup, because things didn't quite work out. But we'll see what happens here. But before we go any further, I do want to give a shout out to one of my personal favorite sponsors, Another Axiom, for providing us with the game we love, and of course for supporting the upcoming tournaments for VRML. And of course, if you have not been paying attention, don't forget VRML Con 2025 has been confirmed for Phoenix, Arizona, and if you'd like to meet some of the casters and or players in person, definitely join the VRML Con website. Check that out, get a ticket, and you can actually join the tournament yourself too if you want to qualify and potentially play live on stage there. But looks like we do have all 8 players in the lobby at this point, so we're just waiting for the teams to get ready and start moving forward. But hey, I wanted to talk real quick. What did you see yesterday? Right, yesterday was the Swiss style bracket, and it was very different. There's only a best of 3 for yesterday, but there's so many teams that played. And I know I didn't get to cast with you directly, but what did you see yesterday? What kind of gameplay did you see? How did you feel about the vibes and some of the strategies these teams were using?
So I've seen both teams. I've seen IVI, the current match, IVI and Valiants. I've seen both of them playing. From IVI, I really think they just click as a team. If you guys did watch the mainstream yesterday, they did pull off that play at the end of the game, just really connecting there, and that was just a brilliant score, getting them into overtime. They really had that connection. They had that chemistry in the playing. From Valiants that I saw, they also know what they're doing too with their connections and their defense and their offense. It's just going to be a brilliant game. I cannot wait to see both these teams and how they just work with each other, basically, Martini.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these teams come up with, right? As you mentioned earlier, this is the top 8, right? We're going to be seeing these teams playing at the top of their level and really showcasing what they can do. And I'm excited to see, right? We saw some great top-level gameplay the other week with the the EU and OCE regions. There's some great teams that come out from there, but I'm kind of curious to see what the NA side of things have, right? There's usually a lot more teams. People tend to talk about whether or not the NA side is a little bit better or not. I know it's always very much in contention, and I can't really say anything yet, right? We're still in early access. There's so many strategies still being kind of worked out, and even metas, right? So we can't really judge too early yet. So but I'm still excited to see what the NA players do, if there is a difference between them and the EU side or not. So it'll definitely be exciting to see what these teams come up with here, but I'm hoping we get started pretty soon here. I might take us to a quick ad break to give us a little bit of time until these teams get set up. But any last words, Reto, anything you else wanted to bring up, talk about in reference to these 2 teams here?
It's going to be a fun day. Make sure to watch all the streams. It's going to be awesome with each and every cast. Make sure to get your tickets to VRML Con. It's going to be amazing. And also, Another Axiom, thank you for sponsoring this.
Awesome. Appreciate that. So we'll be back just in a quick ad break here until these teams get ready. But they definitely have all 8 players in the arena at this point. So we'll be getting the game moving pretty soon here. But we'll see y'all just in a couple minutes.
Only Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
spotted in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Wow.
All right, we did tell the teams they are going to be getting ready right now. I'm waiting for them to put the ball in the middle of the arena. I definitely told them already that they can move forward, so the ball will get started here. But hey, here we are going right into round 1 here. We have IVNA versus Valiants, and you know, we've seen so much how well they performed thus far in this game, and I'm excited to see what they can play now in the round robin playoffs here. As the ball is finally getting started here as it moves down the arena.
Looks like Pickles is going to be taking possession of the ball here. Going for a nice pass right there, going straight from the bottom. Looks like it's just going to be in a scramble there as they're trying to get it to the other side. Looks like Mr. Spark is taking that possession of the ball, rushing straight down the field. Could this be in? Going to pass it up, but ooh, just gets saved by Plunge right there.
Yeah, Plunge able to get that out of the arena at this point. This is a little confusing because I think they have swapped team colors from the side they're playing on. But hey, we move on here as Valiants trying to move forward and try to score potentially. Hold back this attack from the IVNA players. As IVNA is now going to be combating against the Valiants side as they're moving down the arena here. Gets takes a shot there, almost getting it in, and it does a follow up there. And that's a beautiful shot there already by the Valiants player. Oh my goodness, the coloring is gonna throw me off.
The coloring,
because the blue side is
like
Valiants, but they're sorry, keep going.
Did I scare you? Did I scare you?
All right, looks like they are going underground here. Gonna be just a really big scramble on from underground. Gonna be rushing in. Nug's gonna try to throw that in. Mozzie taking possession of the ball right here. Gonna do a nice little carve right there. Gonna chuck that over the Nadash. Nadash gonna chuck it over, but the geometry there just hits that ball. Just giving that possession down the taking in. This is just a brawl right here, Martini. They are just fighting each other.
Yeah, all out brawl at this point, right? As they're trying to get the balls into the other side's goals, but it's just not quite working out here. Dash taking the movement up, trying to go for the micro pass. There does miss it. Unfortunately, it does get defended right there from the Valiants players as they are going to now be going for the resets here. Plunge able to receive the ball themselves as they move down the arena.
So they are taking, but it looks like Nugs does have possession of the ball. Gonna pass that over the Plunge. But oh, with the wicked save from Mozzie. Mozzie just saying, no, I'm not gonna let you get that in. But it rolls straight over to the other side. Going back to slip right there. As it's just gonna be rolling under there. Nugs is gonna rush straight up to the goal. Could this be a grand slam, Martin?
Beautiful goal coming out here from Nugs. I got that great replay as they went in themselves here. Nadash now already going for the response against the IVNA players here. Now Valiant's coming for their, this color is throwing me off here. As IVNA trying to score now back and respond here. And it's looking really good right now for the two teams.
Looks like they are taking this up as Nadash takes possession of the ball, going straight at the Nazi. Mozzie just slamming that in with that pass. Let's see how Nugs plays this round. All right, Nugs taking possession of the ball, being that all-star. Nadash is QEing him right there. That is a really good tactic as he just punts that out of his hand, going straight up to Mozzie.
Yeah, that's me a long shot that just misses, going a little too wide there, and it looks like Valiant's trying their best to really defend this side now as they're being attacked right here from the IVNA players. Looks like they did get the ball back in hand here, going in for a beautiful grab there. Does miss, and unfortunately the geometry does throw them off there. Mozzie trying to move it down the arena here, but Starkey for the follow-up there. It's a long shot, but I don't think it actually connected with Nadash there, unfortunately, as it does get cleared out by the Valiant side here. But looks like they're already going to be responding here as Nugs tries to go in for that pass, and it does connect very well.
Looks like it is towards the bridge side right here. They're going to fling that straight down to the midfield point onto their side. The ball is just rolling right there. Just bonk that straight into the goal. Like Nadash is going to be taking this round, going straight up on the bridge. I wonder what his play is going to
Yeah, looks like Nadash going for the pass for the Pickles. Does connect there, but it does get intercepted by Nugs. Goes a little wide there as it looks like Janul able to get the hand and get it back to Plunge. And that's going to work out perfectly for the IV. Do I have this messed up? IV has 2 points, not IV. What's the scoreline right now? Do you remember?
I think I'm not sure. I think Valiants is in the lead from what I've been seeing.
3? I thought it was 2-2. Am I tripping?
I think it's 2-2.
2-2. All right, we're good. 2-2, right? 2-2. All right, looks like Okay, people in the chat, let me know. Let me know in the chat. I know everything's manual, so if things do mess up. 3-1. Hold up. Who's 3-1?
Oh.
3-1 Valiants. Oh my goodness. Sorry y'all about that. The colors are definitely throwing it back and forth as Slip does go in for the clear there. Does connect with Nugs as they try to keep the ball going down. The arena does miss plunge, unfortunately, as it's now going to be an all-out brawl for them. 3-1 for Valiants. Double check me y'all there for Valiants.
Looks like Pickles did throw that down the field, going straight up, but the ball is just really loose right now. Gonna hit the ground, going straight up to Nadash. What's Nadash is playing? He's gonna throw it straight onto the other side of goal, just hitting that rim right there. As Nugs does take possession of the ball, rushing towards the other side here. But I think the
our
game
viewers
is
on
over.
Earth and across the colonies.
Yeah, that is going to be rough for them, but Valiants winning that one 3-1 at this point. And sorry all about the scoreboard there. Definitely kind of funky as these teams have a variety of colors and the arena itself is a little different. But hey, remember to be a best of 3 Valiants off to a good start here as they have 3-1 right now, and they're looking very much in form here.
That was a pretty grand round there. Valiant's just pulling up some plays. As we know, IVI has just been crushing this tournament. So it's just really great that Valiants did just take this and they're just crushing them. They have that good defensive play, that good offensive play entirely. But I cannot wait to see this next round, Martini.
I know. I mean, these teams are going back at it, back and forth here. I'm excited to see how they really develop this and make these plays work here. As it looks like it's already going forward here. IVNA already getting a hand on it as they're coming in here trying to take shots. Never mind to go for the pass, and it does get intercepted already by the Valiants players here.
So they are being taking possession of the ball, going straight down here. Will he get that in? But there's just a scramble of a brawl right there. Let's go into Piggles. Piggles just bouncing that straight up on the air, going back to Nugs. Gonna go back to Slip. What's Slip's plan? He's gonna go up like a superstar. Gonna throw that back to his teammate with a brilliant pass.
Yeah, looks like Janil trying to look for a potential passing option. Nadash does read it, though, and they're able to go for the interception as Slip is able to pick up the ball themselves and move it down the arena. Nugs going in for those beautiful micro passes, but Maz able to read it themselves as now they're setting up to play against the Valiants defense here, but it does go a little too wide for them, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter as they come back for the reset here and Slip able to get their hand in, and they do send it down to their teammate. But man, this ball keeps coming back onto the Valiants defense here as the IVNA players are holding this.
Yeah, there is nobody at the goal technically right now for IVI, so they are kind of lacking on the defense right here. Nadash does take possession of the ball as Nugs trying to get that into the air right now. The ball is just in scramble as Pickle just throws it down to the field, but it's just going to be captured right there and about to be chucked down to his teammate. Back to Nugs. Could this be in with it? But Mozzie just reads it and just booms that down to the field. Almost in.
That is a beautiful interception. I mean, this is just all-out mayhem, right? Talking about this ball control and possession plays. Both teams have not scored once yet. It's been about almost 2 minutes in this round here. As I say, that plunge now coming in for the 1v1, wins it, takes it, and they could not unfortunately save that for Piggles there. And Valiants is going to be so happy about getting that first goal on the clock at this point. And they're looking, again, very much informally. Round one, 3-1, and now up by 1 goal here.
Valiants really crushing this game with 1 point on the board. But I think IVI could get another point, get a point on here. Mozzie taking possession of the ball. Speaking of points, it's going down and slamming.
I mean, IVNA finally responding to these Valiant players here. It's looking really good right now. As I love the back and forth between these two teams, right? I didn't want to see an all-out blowout from Valiants. You know, I heard so much about the IVNA and even the EU side, right? The IV team and the IV brand has a lot of credibility to right now, and I was hoping to see we can see some great gameplay coming out here, and we are right now. A Slip now moving down the arena here, ball in hand here. It looks like they're trying to already respond to the IVNA players here. Slip coming in for the 1v1, takes a shot. No, they don't. They get intercepted by that IV defense, and it's looking really good right now as they're still fighting to keep that ball possession.
Looks like he is going down to the field right now. Ball is just loose. Piggles takes possession. Piggles going in straight into the goal with that great opportunity of that open goal. Let's see how Nugs plays this. Nugs does take possession of the ball right here, going straight up onto the field right here. Gonna go down. Nice juke play, Martini, as you just saw that. Slip taking possession. Could this be in with another pass play, but just hits that bridge.
Yeah, that passing play almost connecting there, but just a little bit of miscommunication as it does slip right between their fingers. Plunge there for the backup as they are trying to keep any more long shots from going in there. I mean, IVNA had a beautiful long shot earlier, and the Valiants just was not ready for it here, as it looks like Nadash going in for the shot, and they almost get it in, but it just slips right out here as this defense looking great right now for the Valiants players.
Oh boy, speaking about slip, they are going slipping the ball into the middle right here in the midfield section. Going straight up to Pickles again. Will Pickles put this in? Oh, almost a save there by Slip, but just alternately just gets into that goal. Valiant, I mean, IVI really taking this on the floor.
3-1, yeah, they're basically running away with this at this point, and I'm wondering what's gonna happen now. Valiants had such a good showing in round 1. Is that gonna be another long shot coming out there from the IVNA players? They're moving too fast for Valiants. It's almost it feels like almost night and day, right? I'm wondering, did IVNA just need to warm up the first round there, because they're doing so good right now.
Yeah, I agree. They are warming up their bones, getting ready for this grand match. Gonna throw that straight down, going straight up to Slip. Slip's not having it, going straight down. Oh, we're gonna pass it straight up to the middle point, going back to Mozzie right here. Gonna be booming that straight onto the Valiant side. Looks like they're just gonna be intercepting that right there. It's going back to Slip.
Yeah, Nadash able to get the ball in hand. Does get a tackle, but they are still able to do something with this possession here as they send it over to Starkey. That's a beautiful pass through the middle of the sewer there. I've never really seen a pass that accurate before, but hey, remember, this is the top 8 teams right now in NA, so they're going to be showcasing some great passing play, great shooting play, and it looks like IVNA is going to be happy about that win here as they do win that one out 4-1 against Valiants, and definitely looking like night and day again from round 1, right? They did so well. I'm wondering, what can we see here? Or is there some standout performances you're seeing on the IVNA side?
Martini, we are neck to neck right here. And I gotta say, from both teams, IVI really stepping up this round. I really think Valiants really needs that boost if they want to win this next round with their offensive play, with their defensive play. Looks like both teams can really read each other. Once you know how the other team really plays, then you can find their their weaknesses and try to get those goals. But I think next round is going to be a big splash for both these teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be kind of the tiebreaker round and maybe force, one team to play a little bit better than the other one. Because at this point, they're tied, right? It's 1-1 in terms of map wins here. And remember, this is going to be a best-of-5 series, right? So they want to be able to get up to 3 wins to really finish this one out here, and both teams are winning neck and neck at this point, and I'm loving to see this, right? So much dynamic plays from both sides. You're not actually trying to move the ball down the arena. Does get tackled left and right here. Pickles goes for the back pass, does get intercepted unfortunately here as they do try to still make a play out of here, but it looks like Slip's going to be coming in. Does get tackled themselves here though, and this is just all out, again, all out mayhem as everyone is combating and fighting for this ball possession at this point.
Looks like they are going to be nudged, kind of slapped that out of his hand, but looks like he's going back to Pickles right here. Pickles going to throw that, but Slip with that defensive play right there, saying no to the ball. It is just a mayhem right here, Martini, in general. Looks like the ball is just on the scrambles onto the other side right here as Mozzie takes possession of the ball, going right up with a brilliant ceiling card from the ceiling. Going straight down. Could this be in? Oh, but just losing that control right there. Gotta hate when you lose control of the ball.
For sure. I mean, they got a couple good jukes in there, and it looked so beautiful. That setup was about to be working perfect here. Nugs, look at that ball in hand. They send it for the cross pass. The plunge does, unfortunately, hit that geometry there, and Starkey's going to be able to follow up here and send it back down the arena. As Nadash gets tackled by one of the Valiants defenders here, and it looks like the ball is still very much in play on the Valiants goal side here. Mozzie going in for the ball off the top here. And talk about beautiful vision there, almost making a beautiful pass there, but it just didn't quite connect with their teammates, unfortunately.
Yeah, really reading that pass back there and booming that across the field. Looks like we're going down under sewer right here as Nugs does take possession of the ball, throwing it straight back up, going right back to sewer. The ball could be anybody's right now, but it's going to Pickles, and he's going to throw that down. But Plunge, taking that possession, is just going to throw that down across the field, right back to his teammate Nugs. Going to pass that straight down, but gets intercepted as they just read that right there.
Yeah, I mean, the reads from both of these teams are crazy. They're just going back and forth. Here's Pickles going forward, going for the 1v1. Can they win this? They do not, as it does get picked up by the goalie. And talk about beautiful save of the day. We're only 2-3 games in here. We're already seeing some amazing goalie play here.
We're really putting the D in defense for Valiants. Plunge, taking possession of the ball. Gonna be chucking that down onto the Halo. Going to slip. We'll slip this ball in. Gonna throw that up to Nadash. Nadash taking possession of the ball. Gonna zoom straight down, but loses that control. Hitting that down onto the midfield side, but just going to the Nugs on Valiants. It's just scrambles right now.
Yeah, I mean, Nugs trying to go for the passing to their teammate. Plunge able to read that and try to respond, but talk about beautiful defense as these defenders are attacking left and right here. Correct me if I'm wrong, no one has scored yet in this round, or did I miss that? Because we're about 3 minutes in. It's still 0-0 right now.
Oh yeah, we're 0-0 still, and it's just 1 point is all that you kind of need if you want to win this. Now it looks like Plunge is taking possession of the ball, going straight underground, but getting slapped. But no, not getting slapped. He's going straight to the goal. Gonna throw that Mozzie, just gonna throw that straight out to the other side. But speaking of the devil, going straight up. Oh, going straight up on the clock here. Going back to Plunge.
Yeah, good for the Valiants players. Plunge able to get the possession in play. Tries to send it down a slip there. Unfortunately, does slip past their fingers as it does somehow get picked up by Plunge. And these players are great at keeping this possession in the ball in play here. Talk about beautiful leech, though, as that ball just gets past Starkey there at this point. It looks like Janul taking it down to Plunge. Now Plunge going down the arena, takes a shot. It's a 1v1 there, but they just miss it. But it doesn't matter, as it looks like the Valiant players are able to follow that one up here. That's going to give them finally the first point on the board for this round here.
Play resumed.
Gotta say, IVI really needs to step up their game. Time is of the essence, Martini. As Nadash going straight up, Pickle going the Pickles, throwing that in. Speak of it, 1-1, Martini.
You know, they always call it the caster's curse, right? Once you start pointing out these very specific things, something just happens in the last moment there. And I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here. Nugs going to pick the ball up, goes down the arena, sends it over to Plunge, and it does get intercepted by Mozzie, as Mozzie moving down the arena now. But there's 2-3 defenders on him. And talk about, trying to beat the defenders here. And you just can't, right? That huge player difference is going to make it very difficult right now. Starkey able to pick the ball up, trying to move it down the sewer area, but it does keep getting tackled out of everyone's hands at this point. And these teams are fighting for possession back and forth at this point. Now I'm waiting for someone to own the possession here with Mozzie going in for the clear over to Starkey. And that is a beautiful clear. I mean, one of the problems I've seen sometimes with the clears that some of these teams make is that they do just lackadaisical clears here. Piggles does a beautiful around the goalkeeper there. That's a beautiful shot.
Wow, that was really, really beautiful. Going under and just throwing that in. Looks like Nugs is taking possession of the ball right here. Gonna go through it. It's gonna go straight back to Nazi. Gonna try to throw that down right there.
What a match.
And that is the end of the game.
The sheer athleticism.
Oh man, I mean, these teams, I'm loving the energy, right? It's going back and forth between these two teams, and you had mentioned it, I think, during that last round. All it takes is just one goal difference, and that's exactly what we saw there, right? Valiants and IVNA, I think, fighting, and just to get the first goal on the board here. It took about, what, 2-3 minutes, almost more than half of the round to get the first goal here. But in the end, IVNA able to just scrape out one more goal than the Valiants players.
I say IVI taking the W. I have to say, with me seeing IVI in the past, this was like a really base skill level match for them. As I saw yesterday, you did see them against the Crane Gang, but just going against Valiants, they kind of slipped up. Sometimes they a little slipped up, but Valiants just really doing their best here this game, Martini.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do, but remember, this is a best of 5, so they got to get one more on the board here. Otherwise, if they let the IVNA players scrape out with another ball in hand here, it's not going to be looking great for them. They might be losing some points here in this round robin series. Remember, they want to win the round robin, place top 2 in their group, and move on.
All right, looks like Nugs is taking possession of the ball right here. Gonna go back to slip right here, but Piggles reading that, trying to go out, going back to Nugs, trying to push him. Wow, these blocks are crazy, just hitting each other back and forth. They're going under sewer. Plunge is trying to get that, but just the defensive play by Piggles. The ball is just in the air, going straight back to Piggles.
Yeah, they're trying to keep possession here, and both these teams are fighting for possession so much here. I'm waiting to see what someone can do. It looks like they try to keep the ball going down here, but unfortunately, IVNA could not really capitalize on that. And again, these teams are just fighting. Like, the hardest part right now is just maintaining that possession. That's something I've noticed in the Swiss brackets yesterday. A team that's able to maintain possession and consistently keep playing off of it tends to score and play a little bit better than the other team here. But I will say this feels even because both teams just cannot maintain possession for too long. This defensive plays from both sides are just making it they're very difficult. As I say that, you know, Plunge gets around 2 different players there, and talk about taking a shot.
Plunge. That was a beautiful
We're live
goal.
once
As
more.
Nadash takes it up here on the Halo, going straight down, going to take that boost. Boost is the name of the game. Throwing that back to Mozzie, but just gets intercepted by Nugs. Throwing it back onto the nest play, going back to Mozzie. The passing is in sync. Going back to Starkey. Going back to Mozzie. Just back and back, Martini.
Yeah, they're going back and forth, and this is what we were talking about earlier. Just maintaining possession is very difficult for both of these teams, and I got to give so much credit to both defensive sides because this is just doing such a good job right now. I mean, we have been, again, talking for 2 whole minutes, and only one score has really happened here, but I will notice in this current round here, the possession is the biggest difference in the last couple rounds because it's more contested, I would definitely say, right? I wish we had a stat for possession percentages for each team here. Unfortunately, we don't have those sort of stats yet, but they're doing such a good job. Both teams trying to maintain possession themselves, but it's heavily contested at this point. I really don't know who's going to be able to get their hand on the ball and potentially get that goal in.
Looks like the Slip is taking possession of the ball, going to be chucking that straight back down the Plunge. The ball is in the air as they're going to be knocking down onto the midfield part. Looks like it's just anybody's ball right here. It's just going to I don't know how to pronounce that. But it's going straight up the Plunge, slamming that straight into the goal.
What a play!
Yeah, I think the name's Janul, but you know what? It definitely looks kind of funky when it's in motion, right? It's a little hard to read. But we move on here. Nadash already trying to make a response here for the IVNA players. Now 2-0. They want to be able to get another goal in hand here. They want to finish this out in one last round here. They don't want to go to a round of 5, right? Looks like this is going to be a beautiful long shot. It's going to make it in, though. No, it does make it in, the Valiants players. And that is going to be a great long shot there for Valiants. You know, that IVNA defense tried to throw it out, but they just couldn't get there in time.
Looks like Mozzie does take possession of the ball, but just a hit from Plunge and a hit from Janul going straight up. Looks like Pickles is going straight down. Skull from the top,
What a goal.
slamming that down, Martini into the goal.
IVNA finally responding, right? It's been about, what, 4 minutes almost, and they've gotten their first goal finally on the scoreboard here, and that's going to be a big deal. Can they get a second follow here? No, they can't. Nugs going in for the beautiful defense there as they do knock that one out here, and Piggles and everyone, again, trading hands so many times, left and right here. Plunge trying to follow that one up, but it does just slip past their hand here. Mozzie able to follow that one up and move down the arena here, going in for that cross pass all the way over to Nadash. It goes just a little bit wide of them, but they're not able to follow that one up. Unfortunately, as Nugs goes in for that reset, and it does connect with their teammates.
Looks like a Plunge. Pickles is trying to take possession of the ball, but they're booming that straight down the field. Could be anybody's ball right here. Starkey's going to rush up, but it's just going to be a pass from here, going straight back to Plunge, throwing that in. Oh, it's just everybody. Pickles is going to try to throw that up.
Yeah, these shots are just not as accurate as they needed to be here. Nadash going in to the goalkeeper here. It's a 1v3. They do get caught up, unfortunately, and that's one of those moments you got to just look for those passing opportunities because they just can't capitalize when there's that many defenders coming at your face there, right?
Yeah. Slip taking possession of the ball right there. Gonna throw that right back down the Plunge. Plunge taking possession, but just, gets blocked by Mozzie with that beautiful tackle right there. Slip does take possession, throwing that back down to the midfield point, trying to get that cross, but just going back to Piggles in general as it's going straight up. Nugs takes possession of the ball, throwing that straight up to Starkey. Could this be in? He's chucking it. It's just passing in sequence, Markey.
Yeah, the passing back and forth here is looking great. Unfortunately for the IVNA players, they really couldn't finish that one out, but it's been great for Valiants that they're up now finally, or at least they're equalized in terms of round wins here. Valiants winning that one out 3-1, and this is just all-out mayhem as both teams are going back and forth. And again, I got to talk about that past round. The biggest thing we had seen is just possession. It was going back and forth so much. It was challenging for either team to really get a hand on that ball.
Yeah, but now they are just, it could be anybody's game here. But yeah, getting that balls and getting those passing plays were just really complicated overall. But I think both teams did just good entirely.
Yeah, there's some times though. I think from the Valiant side, they had some great, great plays starting to set up there. They just missed a couple shots. I mean, it doesn't quite matter because they still won out that round 3-1, right? But they might have been able to win out a little bit more for those points here. But it doesn't matter. We're going into round 5 here pretty soon for both teams. Again, this is the tiebreaker round. Only one of these teams is going to come out and win out this series here.
All right, it is about to be a grand slam of the matches. The ball is just going straight down to the field. Nugs taking possession, gonna hit that straight over, but it's going right back to Janul. Janul's gonna throw that up. Nugs slamming it onto the ground as Piggles does take possession. Going back to Mozzie as he throws it over back to Nadash on the halo. Gonna be bouncing that straight up back to Janul as he's just gonna be booming that straight down the field.
Yeah, again, these balls are just moving back and forth here. No one quite keeping their hand on possession for too long here, as those defenders do a good job of keeping the ball out of the goal side here. Nadash coming in, trying to go and move forward here for their teammates, and is now fighting for them in the sewer area. And again, this is something we had seen in the previous round here. Both these teams do such a good job, I think, at forcing the other team to have bad passing and less possession play.
Less possession play indeed, but it looks like they are try to throw that in, but Plunge coming in, swooping in, and just putting that into the goal.
That's one of those moments you got to be careful about where you move in your hand, and unfortunately for the IVNA players, they let it slip right past them there, as Valiant's able to just get a little cheeky goal in the end there, and that worked out perfectly for them, as Valiant's trying their best to keep this defense up here. But the tackling keeps making these balls move back and forth here, as it looks like this shotgun play might be developing here. Plunge goes in, but it does get intercepted by Nadash in the end. And at this point, it's still very much in play as the ball is going back and forth here, as Nugs able to get the ball in hand, goes in for the clear, goes to Plunge. Can they get it? No! Yes, they can! They get their hand on the ball here. At this point, they go in for the reset over to Janul.
Say Martini, as IVI being one of like those top teams that everybody's rooting for, just Valiant as like these underdogs are just doing really great in this round. That's what you have to love, is that they're pushing forward with this teamwork. And it looks like Plunge is going to try to take possession, as it's going straight up to Piggles, going straight up to Plunge, going straight back to Nico right there. They are trying to get that in. Mozzie hitting that, but the geometry is not in their favor.
That's just one of those moments, right? You had that long shot that was open, and obviously with the point difference here being so close, you gotta capitalize on that and really hone in those shooting skills there, as it somehow doesn't get into the goal there. Talk about just bad luck for the IVNA players. They have been struggling to get a goal in here, and Valiant's very much in a better position as they are up 1-0 for this current round.
They really got that defense. Well, IVI really has that offense, I believe. And speaking about offense, trying to go in, but just hits that rim right there. That's got to hurt, as Plunge does take possession of the ball, trying to throw that over to his teammate. Janul does have take possession, rushing down to the field. Gonna throw that in, just going back to Nadash. Nadash is throwing this in. Could this be a long shot pass? But it's just going back to Janul as he throws that over.
Yeah, again, this is something we'd seen in the last couple rounds. Keeps happening again, and as I was just about to talk about possession, doesn't matter, as Plunge definitely sees the opportunity, takes it there. That's going to be giving Valiants another point on the board here, and they are very much in form at this point. Nadash trying to respond already. IVNA, now 2 minutes left in the round here. Can they take the shot? They can, and that's finally them responding already to that goal there. Now it's this is definitely within workable range at this point, right? They can go for the equalizer, they can go for the overtime if IVNA can allow it. But I got it. You talked about earlier how IVNA is kind of seen as a top dog right now. So much credit to the Valiant players, and oh my goodness, already 2 points up. And I was just about to talk about how good Valiant is playing, but now they are back and forth, 2-2.
The
It's
arena
the
lifts up
caster's curse,
again.
Martini. It's the caster's curse. Looks like the ball is going straight up onto here right now. Going straight back to Starkey. Starkey taking possession of the ball. Currently, we are in a tied game, as they are going straight down onto the field, onto the midpoint line. It could be anybody's ball right here as they throw that straight up. Nadash taking this in. Could this be a goal? Oh, but just defending that. Just Valiant's just trying to play that defense play right there.
Yeah, they're going back and forth at this point. Valiant's trying to keep the ball very much out of their goal at this point. Time is counting down, though, so overtime is going to be coming in pretty soon here. The backboard tries to connect with Pickles, does get into their hand, but the defenders are going to be seeing that as Plunge tries, it goes in. No, it's going to be read by the IVNA players, and that's going to be unfortunate right now as Valiants is going to be down their first goal this current round. They've usually been in the lead, but now they're finally down.
We're back.
As you've seen, they tried to tackle right there at that goal, but just that goal back there was just brilliant because they did get that in and swoop that in. But speak about tackling, if they are getting possession of the ball, Plunge does have that, and he's throwing that down straight to Nico. Nico could put this in, slam that down, but oh, just the pass is not working in their favor as this is just going to be a scramble.
Man, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game for both teams here. I'm happy we picked up this cast here. Because talking about amazing gameplay from both teams here, IVNA Valiants, probably such a close game. I mean, 3-1, 4-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. Talk about the back and forth between these two teams here. And I really was on the edge of my seat, not knowing who is going to win out that current round here. But in the end, for this first round robin game, IVNA able to win that one out. And it is a beautiful game for them. But I was close. I would be a little worried for IVNA. Valiants might be a pretty good contender for them.
Yeah, some of the people saying what a comeback in the chat. That was just an amazing game. Amazing comeback for IVI. That was a show. That was just a grand show for IVI. Really pushing that name and winning this game. Great defensive plays, great offensive plays from here, from IVI. But from Valiants, you guys also did really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, checking out some of these great replays here from IVNA and Valiants, they had some great plays in terms of coming down, taking these shots on the goal here, and it was so much back and forth. But I gotta give so much shout out to, I think, again, the defending side of it. While the offense was great for both teams, the defense was just as good, right? The amount of times there was so much turnover and so many times they're defending the goal, preventing goals from happening and going in was such a high amount, and that's a lot of credit to how well these teams play in terms of possession and ball control, that they can have so much turnover on both sides here. So definitely credit to both teams here. But that's going to be the conclusion of the first set of round robin games here. We'll be going to a quick ad break as we will be picking up the upcoming game pretty soon here. But hey, it'll be a lot quicker than yesterday. It'll be a lot quicker, so hopefully it won't be too long of a wait. But we'll see y'all just pretty quickly after these ad breaks.
Only Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Spud in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Wow. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn.
All right, we're already going to be ramping this one up. We'll be watching Crane Gang versus Control here. Sorry, y'all, for the quick start here, but they're already responding here. Did they already get a goal there?
I think they are at still the start of the game.
Oh, they're restarting. Yeah, y'all can get started. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I thought they already ran right into the game. I'm like, whoa. They're moving fast here, but they are gonna be getting started pretty soon here. But hey, this is gonna be Crane Gang and Control. What kind of gameplay have you seen from both these teams here? I think Crane Gang right now is, I think, believed to be one of the top teams right now for NA.
Like a supernova, the game explodes into action. Power of a team overall. Just gotta love how they play in general. They have that, like, as I've seen them from other tournaments, they have that connection. They can do this stuff super fast. No looking behind the back. It's just brilliant on what they could do.
Yeah, no, I definitely have seen them play. I think I was watching them towards the end of the cast yesterday. It's a shot. That's a beautiful shot there from the Control players. And we were just talking about how good Crane Gang is here, but they're looking very much good right now for a Control.
Might be in the wrong green.
Play recommences.
Oh, this went away. Sorry all about that. Oh my goodness. What? You know the score right now?
They score.
I'm not sure, Martini. I was just confused where I wasn't.
You know what? I believe the Control players have scored one there. But it's, hey, we'll be moving forward here right now, as I accidentally went to the wrong arena. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay. Martini. Looks like they are going straight up. It looks like Ace does have that. As Swagglord does take possession of the ball, but gonna slam that down. Gotta love that. As the White does have the possession right now. What's his play, Martini?
I know it's looking tough right now for the Control players. Crane Gang is going to be a very well-versed team here, but hey, they can try to respond here. They try to go for the double pass there. Doesn't quite connect, unfortunately, as it just slips right past their fingers here, as Fizz able to get their ball in the hand here. Tries to go off of the backboard here, doesn't get the pass forward, unfortunately, as it does get intercepted by the control players as they go in for that clear here. And they got to be careful with these clears, right?
Well, looks like they do have possession of the ball right here, as it's just in scrambles right now, as Blaze tries to take back possession. Very fast gameplay right here, as it's going right back onto the side, as Swaggler on control takes that possession of the ball, throwing it to the cross at the midfield point, but the geometry is going to hit that ball right there. And speak of it, Gooflin slamming that in.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I got a great angle on that. There's just some back and forth in terms of getting that ball moving down the arena. And the passing play right now that I'm seeing from the Crane Gang players, honestly, it looks undefeated.
It looks like Dwayne is taking that possession of the ball right there, as Swaggler is trying to take that possession right there, as they're just rushing down the field. Rushing, getting that ball control, waiting there as Fizzin does rush down the field. Could this be in? As he's going up the bridge, nobody's stopping him. Going straight up, put that past the clock to, it could be anybody's ball, but it looks like it's just going right back to control.
Yeah, it looks like Rex able to get the ball in the hand. They do get intercepted and tackled by Goblin there, and it looks like they can be followed up there. Crane Gang trying to move it down the arena at this point, and they are still very much fighting for possession of the ball. Swag were able to read it and move down the arena, but it does get picked up by the defenders, unfortunately. But it's still very much in the control goalie side, as Lala is coming down Halo at this point, trying to look for some potential options here. Going for the pass, and it does get read, and this is what I'm seeing, I think, on the control side. They keep trying to move it down. A lot of these passes are not being read by their teammates, and that chemistry just isn't quite working out for them right now.
About that was just a wicked long shot back there, but it got saved back there. If you saw that, it is going underground here as he's trying to get that possession, jumping up. Swaggler is trying to get that as he does take possession, zooming up with his boost. Is he gonna grand slam it to the goal? Dublin! Oh, like a big bump ball straight into the goal!
What a goal.
That is just unfortunate, right? It looked like it was just about to slip past the Crane Gang, the control goalie. Unfortunately, they couldn't get their hand on it, and it just slips past them. And that goal, unfortunately, probably was really sad for them to see there, right? But hey, still very much in players control, trying to make the response already, going for the passes here. But again, they aren't connecting right now. And the problem is Crane Gang's chemistry is just looking night and day from the control players.
Wayne trying to take that possession of the ball right there, but going straight back to Sagwar as he's going straight up. He's rushing. He's like Sonic. Oh, almost getting out of it, but Dublin, that cross pass going in with that big boom to the goal.
Oh my goodness, that worked out for them. I think that might have been the mercy. So maybe is it a 6-0, or what's the point difference? Did you happen to catch it?
This is Sir Dimwat signing off and
I think
reminding
Crane
you
Gang did take the
that
W
their
on this
ball
one.
is
As I was seeing, they did get some early game points, so I think they did take the W on this now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
Wow.
did miss some of the earlier parts of the round here. But hey, I think we still know, at least in terms of that round, Crane Gang definitely winning that one out. I think 5-0, 6-0, something like that. I'm not sure what the point differential was here, but it's challenging, right? We had seen Control, I think, have some solid gameplay there, but when you're playing against a team like Crane Gang, you got to come here and have perfect gameplay, right? You got to have that chemistry dialed up to 100, that passing gameplay dialed up to 100, and that's something I noticed on the Control attack. There were time and time again they tried to go in for those passes, and it just didn't quite connect.
Martini, if you saw that chemistry there, that was just some brilliant chemistry, some cross pass. It was brilliant, but I cannot wait to see this second round.
Hold on to your heart balls,
It's gonna be
friends.
exciting.
It's go time.
Already control with the ball in hand here, but it does get picked up, as it's going to be picked up by the Crane Gang players here, going back and forth as they are moving down the arena here. Goblin tries to send it over to their teammate, does get sent over to Swag, where they are moving down the arena. Goes to Goblin, and it almost connects. They couldn't finish it, unfortunately, and that is going to be haunting them for now, as they could not get that goal in.
Looks like let's taking that possession of the ball right there. Gonna throw that back, throwing it almost with that cross pass. Doesn't really get that there. As it's gonna go to Blaze right here as he's trying to take possession. The geometry is just not in their favor. As reacting does take about possession, just going back to Swaglor as he's running up the field, jumping down, using the geometry to his advantage. Gonna throw that, but it's just going straight back to Dwayne.
Got to give so much credit to the ball control right now for both teams, but more specifically Crane Gang. We're seeing them dodge and juke around some of these control defenders and is able to get them the ball in the control goal side, and that's gonna be a big deal, right? When you have Crane Gang on your goal side, you're gonna be a little scared, right? You don't want them to be going in for any shots, because right now they've been doing a great job at getting those shots in consistently.
Looks like takes possession of the ball right here, going straight up onto this halo point, going straight back down, but just kind of loses that right here as the ball is just in control right there. But going to there was just impressive.
Yeah, that's going to be picked up by Swag War there, and that is going to be looking great right now for the Crane Gang players. Control, again, have to make some sort of response here as Rakator
We're back on it.
down the arena.
Here
Does
we
get
go.
intercepted by Swag War. That's going to be an amazing tackle. They take the shot there, and that's going to be unfortunate. You got to be careful,
I can't believe my
because it looks like Crane Gang is going to be right on you the whole time.
Looks like they are going in for a little regrabbing play right here, trying to gain that speed. Looks like they are gaining that speed as well. Oh, gains that speed, running down the court. Oh, goodness, man! Supersonic! Oh! Oh!
What a
My
goal!
God! Talk about speed, Martini! Speed!
You know, I haven't seen a slingshot, I would have called that play by now,
Drift ball
by
frenzy
many
restarts.
teams, right? We saw this kind of back around the turnaround switch up they had with a person on the stack there, and they went for a great regrab speed pull there, and that gave them so much speed for control there, and they were not expecting that, I think, on the Crane Gang side.
It was really, really unexpected. Looks like they are taking possession of the ball right here as the Dwight is trying to get that in, but gets just slapped by Fizz, and Swaglord takes possession of the ball, booming that straight. But looks like Reactin is taking that. Could this be in? Oh, Swaglord just saving that right there. Gonna go down the court, going back to base. The ball is just in the air right now.
Yeah, those passes unfortunately didn't quite connect for the Crane Gang players, and 2-1 is a lot closer, I think, of a point differential that we had seen on that previous round here, right? But I think Control is locking in a little bit more in this current round, but again, Crane Gang is putting up such good gameplay right now against Control. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here as Control now going on an attack, does go back and forth, and again, possession is going to be the biggest thing right now. Which team can maintain the ball for longer than, what, 5 seconds?
5 seconds, yeah, maybe 10 or 1. I don't know. Looks like it is going right down the court right here as it's just rolling here. Going back to Swagler as he's going in. Gonna hit that wall. Going straight to the goal. Is he gonna put this in? Gonna throw it to his teammate with a cross pass into the goal!
I gotta love it. The Crane Gang players are just good, right? The back and forth passing, the speed, the accuracy is just consistently good, and somehow Control able to get that shot in, and it just slips past that defender there.
Wow. That was brilliant. It looks like they are gaining up speed. Swagler gaining that speed again.
Balls in
Gonna be
motion.
jumping up here. Is he gonna pass here? Gonna do a ceiling card. Passing to his teammate. Straight under. Oh, almost getting out of Goblin. Oh, nice deflected play. The defense on point.
Control looking so good right now, I think, for defensive form, right? It's going back and forth. They're able to keep that ball from not getting scored on them. But again, 40 seconds left in the round here. We're going to have to see Control get at least another point on the board to at least force this into an overtime at this point. But it does get intercepted by Swag, whereas they are moving down the arena. It looks like it might be a 1v1 between them and Rexy, and it does get shot right past them. And that's going to be a great one for the Crane Gang players.
How you play drift ball, ladies and
Like
gentlemen.
Dwayne is taking that in his possession. Is he going to gain speed? His teammate Ulala's going to gain that speed. Going down, but oh, just get deflected by Swaglord. But speaking of it, going back up as Reacted just tries to have that as Ulala take that back up onto the top. They are playing really, really, really high game. I have not seen them really play any bottom play, just really high top play, Martini.
You know, very vertical of a game, you're right. And I'm wondering, how are they managing to do this? Because that requires so much boost management from both sides here. But it looks like that's going to be going the way of Crane Gang here as they do win that one out 4-2. And looking great for them right now as they are now only one more win away from winning out this series. Again, this is going to be a best of 5 series, so whichever team can get 3 wins first is going to win out that series. And right now, Control had a better fight in that last round, but do you think they might be able to make something happen in the third round?
I think Control can have something in this ground. As you've been seeing, they have that chemistry and they have that speed. They had those couple of goals really punishing Crane Gang at some point. It's just gonna be a great match of all. Control can take this back. They can take control and take control of this back. For Crane Gang, I think they got this in the bag.
Yeah, they're definitely locked in right now. I mean, 6-0 or whatever the first round was. It doesn't matter. They won that one 4-2 for that previous round, and now going into round 3 at this point. It's very much a back and forth between these two teams here, and I'm loving to see the chemistry coming out from the Crane Gang players. Already getting a hand on the ball here, but it does just slip past them, as it looks like Belly's gonna be picking that one up and moving down. The arena does get tackled themselves here, and it's a lot of back and forth again for this possession, as both teams can't really keep a hand on the ball for too long.
Looks like they're just going to go straight up onto the bridge point as Swaglors is taking that up, but just loses that control right there as it's going back to Gooblin. Gooblin just losing that. The ball could be anybody's right now as they're rushing. Belly Flop trying to take that, but it's getting intercepted by Swaglor right now. Just waiting and going to hit that back with the jump.
That's a beautiful attempted pass. The Fizz in there does unfortunately slip right past their hands here. It looks like the Control defense is now going to be able to get possession here as they try to move it down here. Dwagon able to get the ball in hand, sends it over to their teammate Rakator. Can they get the ball? No, it just gets past them, but Belly Flops there for the recovery as they are going to be juking around them and send it back over the Dwagon here. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of passing gameplay. They're going back and forth. They couldn't finish that. It just slips past the goalie, but it doesn't get finished off by the Control players.
Looks like Fizzin's just going to be knocking that down. Belly Flops knocking back down to the other side, but just in all, just going back to Swaglor. Swaglor rushing straight to the goal. Could this be in? Oh, tries to throw that in, but just gets deflected by the defensive Control. Belly Flops taking possession right here. Gonna boom that straight down to the court. Oh, gonna be a pass right there. The Gooblin. It is just a passing play frenzy.
Yeah, going back and forth at this point. This is probably, I think, the longest we have seen these two teams at least going in terms of not, playing, but not quite getting any goals here. It's been about 2 minutes. Think about this. 2 minutes in a round. Neither team has gotten a goal. Even Crane Gang, which is a team I think has done a very good job at getting these goals in hand, just hasn't quite gotten past the Control defense. And I don't know what happened, because these last couple rounds, it looks like Control has really dialed it in, and this defense has been doing a lot better of a job in the last couple rounds. Dare I say, Control, if they play their cards right, I can see them winning out this round.
Yeah, I agree, Martini. As Goblin is going to be throwing that straight down. Oh, going to hit the rim. But speaking about rim, backhand from the board, right straight backhand. That was incredible. Let's see how Belly Flops plays this one, Martini.
That definitely felt like a caster's curse moment, right? I was just talking about that Control defense and Crane Gang able to just slip right past them there, and that's going to be unfortunate for them. But hey, they still got another 2 minutes left in the round here. Rakator goes in for the pass, does get intercepted by Swagler, and again, the reading from that Crane Gang defense has been unbeatable. Crane Gang goes in for a beautiful pass back to Goblin as they go for a third pass there, and it does barely connect with Fizzin in hand. It does work out for them though, as Swagler goes for another pass. Baz takes the shot there, and I mean, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I was losing count of the amount of goals passes happening there.
So many. It looks like they are doing the slingshot method, as you were saying, Martini. Going down to the field, gaining that speed, dribbling the ball, gonna pass that over, but just gets deflected by Gooblin. Gooblin taking that straight down to the point. It is just a frenzy as Swagler is taking that nice ceiling card. Could this be in? Throwing it to Gooblin. Oh, we're just deflected by Belly Flops.
That's not going to be a good day right now for the Crane Gang players, but hey, that defense is holding them down 2-0. It's definitely a great goal line to be having right now between these two teams. Oh la la, moving down the halo here, sends the ball down to their teammate. Belly Flops unfortunately just misses it as Swag were able to pick that one up and try to move it down the arena here. And Belly Flops, so unfortunately, able to hold that in hand and move it themselves. And this is what we're talking about, all out mayhem again in terms of possession play. Neither team can really hold it down, but Control now having to defend their goal.
Swagler is coming up, but from the top, bouncing it down like a bouncy ball. That was a brilliant score. Let's see how this goes. As Mr. Ulala is taking the fast approach. Like I see the key to this team is just speed. But it looks like they are going to be doing a sick regrab right there on the halo. Gain that speed, going to be throwing that straight down to Dwayne. Going to slam that in. Oh, just hits the rim right there, Martine.
I see the vision. You know, I see the vision. It's right there. It's just the execution isn't a perfect. Goblin takes that shot there, and that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful bounce shot in the end here. And this is something I've noticed. Crane Gang just has that creativity and understanding of the ball in the arena to really slip those goals past them. But Control, I got to say, they have some great rollouts. I think we'd start calling those, where they're starting off with the QB plays here. And they are connecting. The vision's great. It's getting it down to the other side of the arena, but they just can't get those shots in.
Looks like Swiler is just free like a bird. Just gonna put that into the goal. Let's see how DeWagon plays this. He looks like he's gaining a little bit of
We're
speed
back
right there,
on
going
it.
straight under
Here
the
we
sewers right
go.
now. Little sewer play right here as he's just waiting, taking his time, gonna be throwing that, going back to Googlin right now. Googlin's just gonna be knocking that down the field.
Yeah, at this point, that's not going to be working out for the Control players. The Crane Gang playing such a good job against Control. I mean, what is this one? 5-0. Talk about beautiful winning coming out here from the Crane Gang players. And again, this is best of 3, so they won 3 games. They'll be winning out this series here. And I'm not sure what Crane Gang's performance is overall. Let's actually pull that up real quick. We might as well. We have a little bit of time. But Crane Gang won their first game 3-0, and then this one's going to be 3-0. When I talk about round wins here. So right now, Crane Gang is undefeated and literally has not lost a round yet. I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to be going forward. And they might be potentially one of the best teams right now.
Yeah, Martini, they are really taking this crown in this Pioneer Cup, showing every single team in North America who is the best. But Crane Gang doing incredible that game. But I gotta say, Control did really good that game. Control had that defensive plays, they had the offensive play, that communication, that passing, the speed. It was all on point, and you just gotta give bravos to them. Doing this against Crane Gang, that was pretty neat.
It's hard, yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Definitely hard right now. The Crane Gang players, right, they play so well. The chemistry is dialed in. The passing options are just going back and forth. I mean, there's that one play I think I called out where it was, what, 3 or 4 goals back and forth. And your team has to be so good in terms of chemistry and placement, in terms of the accuracy of your passes, and also where your body is in the arena here. And that's just something we consistently had seen on the Crane Gang side. So any team that's going to be playing against Crane Gang, you got to have that same level of chemistry, if not better defense, right?
Yeah, Gang, the Crane Gang, just coming in with these W's. Gotta love it.
I know they played so well, so credit to the Crane Gang players, and a good attempt by Control, right? They still got the 2 goals in that second round. That last one, unfortunately, didn't quite work out for them. I'm not sure if just the morale had really been knocked down, because I will say momentum is going to be a big deal for these teams here, right? But anyways, that'll be it for now for the second set of matches for round robin. We'll be going into the third set of matches pretty soon here, but we'll be going to a quick ad break. Hopefully not too much longer, as it's only we're waiting on a couple more teams, and that's like literally 1 or 2 games, right? So we'll be back, hopefully in not too long.
Prepare to start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match days.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Hey,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Hey,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
And we are going to be getting started pretty soon here. We'll be watching the Valiants versus Subpar game. I don't know if y'all caught the later part of the main cast there, but we were just watching Subpar, and honestly, they're doing a really good job right now.
Practice arenas are available all
Yeah,
day.
Subpar really crushing to these in this red robin right here. But Valiant's also doing some pretty sick plays earlier in their other games. But it looks like we are gonna have this as they boom this across the field right here as they're going to take possession. Plunge does take that possession on the ball, throwing it, trying to get that cross to the other side, but Nude just takes it, throwing that across the field here, back to Slip here, going back to Nugs, just back and forth here at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, looks like they are trying to get their fingers on the ball here. Slip trying to slip it past the enemy teams. Kiwi goes in for that interception, sends it over to Janul here as they try to go in for that deep, long pass, but it does get intercepted by Skittles, but it does not matter at this point. Again, they're fighting for the ball here. It's all out mayhem as Subpar trying their best to keep the ball out of the arena. No, it just misses as Nugs is going to be hurting themselves later for that, regretting that shot here as Janul taking another shot here. Never mind. It doesn't matter. You know, they missed it earlier. Their teammates are able to follow up here. And, you know, that's going to be a big deal, right? When we talk about possession play, can they maintain the ball possession even if they don't necessarily score the goal there, right?
Looks like they are doing the slingshot here, gaining that speed, going from the cross. Oh. Going that in. Wow. Nice placement play right there, Martini.
You know, we have seen this slingshot goal happening time and time again. These rollouts are actually pretty consistent. Nugs getting the double pass back. Can they finish it, though? They take the shot, but it does get picked up by Skittles there, but it's not quite out as it just slips past their finger there. And this is probably an active game. I don't know if you noticed, Retro. 2-1 already. We're 2 minutes into the round.
Yeah, the game is going super fast like Sonic Speed. Looks like they're going to be going under sewer right here. Playing low ground right here. Going to be passing that up. But the geometry does not work in their favor as Slip takes possession of the ball. Zooming it back to his teammate. Going back to Nugs as he's just crossing this across the field. Just, wow. Now it's going under sewer, Martini.
Yeah, these balls are going back and forth here. Kiwi finally taking a 1v1. Does take that shot, though, on Valiants. And this is definitely going to be a game here. 2-2 right now between Subpar and Valiants. I'm wondering, this game is cooking up for sure. I don't know who to vote for.
I wouldn't say cooking. I would say boiling, Martini. As Slip does take possession of the ball right here. He's going to be throwing that. Oh, almost hitting that rim. You got to hate when it hits the rim because these goals are way smaller than the 3v3 ones. 3v3 ones are a lot bigger, but it looks like they are going to be taking possession of the ball right up. Quint is trying to take that as they're just trying to battle for possession. Plunge, just plunging it back to his teammate.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful reset now. Double reset going all the way back to Janul as they move it all the way down the arena again. Slip able to get the hand on the ball here. Taking a 1v2. Takes a shot off the back. And it doesn't quite connect, unfortunately, as it does get picked up by the defenders here. And it's just slipping right through their fingers here as both teams, again, are trying their best to really maintain possession. And the reset plays coming up from Valiants, I got to give them so much credit for. It's looking beautiful.
Looks like Janul did that really great pass shot, but didn't work by the defense of Subpar. Speaking of defense, just throwing that in right there with a brilliant goal. The Caster's curse, Martin.
Yeah, Valiants they've been consistently up at least one goal right now between them and Subpar, but I will say Subpar definitely not playing like their team name suggests, because they're doing a really good job now consistently keeping the pressure up here and consistently getting those shots in the goal here. But Nugs does pick up the ball, moving it down a plunge there, goes in for the double pass there over the slip, and they go in for potential passing assist, goes in for the shot, but it goes unfortunately just past their hands here. I think that might have been them unfortunately being out of boost there.
That was almost unlucky back there, as you guys saw. Looks like they are going to plunge, is taking possession of the ball, just throwing that back under to the ground section. Going to be just picked up. Could this be in? Oh, going to slip as they're playing a little bit higher on this Jack dude's trying to just take the ball from them. It's just a frenzy at this bridge.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that shot almost slipping right past their fingers here, but Nugs goes in for the potential long shot there. It goes a little too wide though as Kiwi goes in for the clear. Can they keep the ball out here? No, as it looks like Plunge somehow able to scrape by and get their hand on the ball there, but it doesn't matter. Slip, and now Plunge now keeping the ball very much in a play here. And again, the plays are looking beautiful right now from Valiants, as they've been consistently getting those passes back and forth, and that is what the second or third or fourth reset here we're seeing from Valiants. They've been consistently relying on those resets, and I think it's working out for them for sure here, as Valiants are gonna win out that round. What is that, 3-2 I believe?
I think so. It's 3-2. Yeah, that was a brilliant round there, Martini. Just great passing and communication from there. Have that chemistry. Subpar can take this next game. I really say it was just brilliant. WN.
And I gotta say, it's a bigger deal right now for the Valiants players. So for those not aware of the brackets, right now in this Group B of bracket here, Subpar is number 1. Valiants is 3rd place. This is basically Valiants fighting to see if they can scrape by and get in to the top 2 in terms of this Group B here. Remember, the teams that move on to the semifinals are going to be the ones that place top 2 in their bracket. And right now, Valiants hasn't placed top 2. They're fighting to see if they can make that. And this is going to be a big game for them here.
Oh boy, it's about to get heated. The game is about to start off right here, as Plunge does take possession of the ball like a rocket ship, going in, out from the backhand, straight into the goal!
I mean, did you see that right around the back there? That is definitely a clip it moment there, and we definitely clipped it for them here. But Subpar is going to have to respond here. Already down a whole round. They don't want Valiants to win this because, again, I believe if Valiants does beat Subpar here, they can scrape by and maybe get into the top 2 here. I'd be a little worried for the Subpar players going for the long shot there. Slip, unfortunately, not quite seeing the goalie there.
Skittles is taking possession of the ball, throwing it straight back down to the field. Gonna push that straight back down to the field over there near Bridge. Looks like Plunge is trying to take possession of the ball, but it looks like he's going to quit as he's trying to throw that down to the field, trying to get that pass play right here. Does not work out in their favor, as it just goes to Jack New as they're brawling.
Yeah, City able to get their ball in the hand here. Tries to send it to their teammate, but it does get picked up by the defender here. Quiet does see a potential shooting opportunity. Tries to take it, but no one can finish that one, as Subpar is struggling right now to really get that ball past the goalie and defenders on the Valiant side here. Looks like Plunge going down the arena, plays off a Halo here. Now going in for the 1v2, goes for the pass over to Nugs. Does miss it, couldn't follow up. No, they missed 2 follow-ups there, as both the ball has slipped right past 2 of those attackers. And it's definitely all out mayhem right now, as Valiants has been struggling themselves to get a goal the last minute or 2.
You also really gotta hate when that ball just hits the rim of the goal. Just the worst feeling right there, as they're gonna be boom that straight across the field, going up the Plunge right now, gonna throw that straight to his teammate, as they're gonna be gaining that speed. Gonna throw that, Nugs is gonna throw that across the field, trying to get that, but very unlucky, as it just pushed the Jack New onto the next play, throwing that in.
Yeah, that's one of those moments I think Valiants might have reset there. They tried to reset to one of their teammates. It did slip right past their hands here, and Subpar read that perfectly as they came in for a beautiful follow-up there in the end. And so Valiants very much got to be careful, right? This is, while they have the advantage right now being up 1 round, that is not quite enough, as Subpar themselves can come up themselves and potentially get another round in here. Looks like Plunge getting the ball in the hand, moving down the arena, trying to get past Quiet, but it does get tackled out of their hand here as Quiet goes in for the clear, but it does again get picked up by Plunge. And talk about on the ball here as Plunge gets past one, almost two, but it does get picked up by a tackle.
Looks like the geometry is not in their favor right now, as the ball is just scrambled right now as they're trying to go up there, trying to boost up there as Janul is rushing to that ball right now. It could be anybody's. Going back to Nugs. Nugs is just going to back the hand that to his teammate right there. Janul is trying to throw that down straight up. Could this be in? Oh! But with the defensive play here, it's just incredible from Subpar.
Yeah, it's going back and forth right now. Both teams fighting to get one goal up. Going in for another reset here from the Valiants players as Nugs now moving down the arena. Can they win this 1v1 or 1v2? Plunge goes in for the tackle, but it does get picked up by these Subpar defenders here, as it looks like Acidic trying to go for a potential passing option. It does get intercepted, but Jakunt there is going to be on the back, able to follow that one up and go down the arena looking for another passing option. Goes over to Skittles, does connect. They can't quite get that final shot though, and that's going to be beautiful, beautiful defensive play there from the Valiants players.
So they're going to be booming that across the field. Going straight up the bridge right now as Nugs takes possession of the ball. What's his play? His play is going to be jumping straight up, going with that ceiling guard, but Jack New punching him right there. It looks like he's just going to be booming that straight to his teammate, trying to get that reset there. Plunge does take that up. Going to try to get that another reset right there from going straight in. Just hitting that straight back there to almost the Nugs with that pass.
Yeah, these two teams have been back and forth this round. It's probably the most we've seen. You know, no one get a score right here as Plunge coming in for the follow-up here. They do miss the communication, but Plunge able to still recover and make something happen here, as there's now counting down about a minute left in the round here. Both teams are tied, so we'll be going to potential overtime situation for these two teams here. Plunge tries to go and jukes around the teammates, does get intercepted, and Val going to be on the back end there trying to hold it down. And again, check out this Valiants resetting. I feel like that's the biggest thing that we've seen from Valiants. They try to focus on possession play. Didn't quite work out in one of the earlier plays, but it does tend to work out for them if they can maintain that possession. Now 30 seconds left, and it's still anyone's game.
Now looks like Plunge is taking that possession, trying to throw that back to his teammate. So he's going to go to Val up there onto the top, gonna slam that to his teammate, but just Quint trying to just get that possession, knocking over to the midfield point, back to their side. Valiant's side is Janul is trying to go to the ceiling card from the ceiling, but ouch, just going back to the possession of the other team. But could this be a launch shot? Ow, hitting that rim.
Now just slips past him. At this point, we are going to be in overtime territory. So one of these teams has to win. Quiet goes in for the pass, takes a shot there from Jakun, but it goes just past them, and it does try to get followed up there by Acidic, but it does slip past the attackers, unfortunately. And that's going to be just one of those miscommunication parts that they're going to be a little bit sad about later. Here's Nugs, able to get a ball in hand here, and both teams just cannot maintain the ball possession here. And I'm curious to see which team ends up working this one out here. Plunge for the follow-up there for the reset. Goes in for the pass to their teammate. And again, they're making another attacking opportunity here.
It could be anybody's game here, Martini, as they are just scrambling to get this last point. Who will win this game? Will it be Valiant? Will it be Subpar? Plunge rushing down to the field. Gonna do that reset. Back to Val. Trying to get that defensive play right back. Looks like they are going straight under sewer, but the geometry is not into their control right now as they're trying to gain speed, trying to find that opportunity. Gonna pass through the midfield part. Could this be in from Nest? Yikes.
And I saw they try to do a follow-up pass, like a double, triple pass there. And again, good credit to the Valiants players. Are so close to getting it, but sometimes I think the boost's just falling a little bit outside the range here. And it's just, again, going on forever here. I'm kind of losing track. I'm wondering how long this has been going on in terms of overtime here. Plunge now trying to get another attacking opportunity, but these defenders have something else to say about this. This Subpar does now want to get knocked out by this potentially, as again, Subpar is fighting for their first place spot here, and right now Valiant is fighting for their third place spot here. They don't want that to happen, and Subpar finishes that one out here, and that's going to be a great win there. Now giving them 1 point on the board in terms of round wins. I mean, 1-1 at this point. We have Subpar and the Valiants. It's anyone's game. This is neck and neck.
Yeah, neck and neck indeed. Gotta say, woo! Oh, Subpar with that brilliant shot right there at the end. Brilliant. I cannot wait to see them play in this next round. Same with Valiants.
Yeah, I need to see what's going on here. Looks like they are going to be going in for another round of 3. It's already on the way here. Nugs going in for the shot. No, does miss it here. And they try to do another attempted shot there. Does get missed, unfortunately. And Subpar did a beautiful, beautiful defensive play there in the end. But Valiants has another setup here.
So they are rushing on this side. Plunge does take possession of the ball, trying to rush towards this each side as they're trying to take control. Looks like they are trying to take this up. Oh, Aston Mark's trying to go to the midfield side with a cross pass. Beautiful cross pass to Skittles. Jack Newt takes that, going back to quit and going back to plunge.
They are going back and forth here. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. And again, the Subpar got that win. Valiant's got the first round win. It's, again, anyone's game. Both these teams are fighting to really maintain and hold their spot to move on to the later part of the playoffs here. Because, again, reminder to everyone who is watching today, we are right now in the round robin matches here. As Nugs almost tries to take a shot, somehow gets the follow. That's a back. I don't know if you noticed that. It was a back shot there. Maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but that was a backhanded shot there, and that looked beautiful from the Valiants players here.
Backhand shot indeed. And Plunge is taking possession of the ball. Is he going to put that in? Oh, shot! Into the goal!
You know, they're definitely going back and forth, but Valiant somehow getting 2 goals back to back here. You know, if I'm going to be on the Subpar side, I'm going to be worried. How do we come back from this? And they are going to come back from this potentially with this slingshot play. Unfortunately, does get picked up by the Valiants defense, as that's a great read there.
Slip is going to be slipping that up to his teammate right now. Looks like he's going back to Nugs right here as he's going to be going for a cross pass. Could this be in? Oh, cross pass to his teammate and straight into the goal.
Valiants is heating up. I mean, 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. I'm wondering what's going to happen here. Subpar has to do something and really shake up this momentum. I think Valiants took that one, or how long is the break? What, 30 seconds or something like that? As that's going to be a long shot. Is that in, though? Oh, that's in. And Valiants again up another goal. What is going on here?
They are really leaving the goal open. If I would have to say from Subpar, I really think there should be somebody on the defensive line right there. If they want, they could. Valiants could take these opportunities with the goal being open to get as much as long shots as they can. But speaking about that, Martini, another long shot.
You know, it's almost comedic, I think, at a certain point when they had, what is that, 3 or 4 long shots almost in a row. I'm wondering what's going on in the Subpar defense. Is no one making calls on their side saying, hey, we got to pull back one of these defenders and watch that back line, because they have been consistently getting these long shots because Subpar is just too far forward.
Looks like they are going to be rushing straight to the goal. Looks like they do have some defensive plays right there. Trying to knock that out of his hand. Could be anybody's goal. It's going back to Slip. Slip's taking that as he's rushing straight towards his goal. Could this be in? Oh, but just getting knocked by the defensive play. Gotta say, Martini, they are stepping up their defense a little bit.
They definitely are. They haven't seen a long shot in a second now, as Jakun does get intercepted there, but still able to follow up here. Plunge gets a hand on the ball. Nugs able to get the hand on the ball, and that's going to be a finish up there, and that's going to be a... Is that a 6-0 mercy there from Valiants?
Mercy. They really showed mercy that game, Martini. Valiants coming with the W. I gotta say, for Subpar, I really think they need to step up their defense. If they step up their defense, have somebody at that back line, I really think, because they are a brilliant team when it comes to chemistry and speed, they just need somebody on that defensive team. That is their weakness for that round.
Yeah, in the previous game, right, Subpar had played against IVNA, put up a really, really good game against them, but I'm not seeing that here in Valiants, right? They had a good, I think, round 1, round 2, but that last round there was just a little too out of form for them. And the fact that Valiants consistently was able to pull out and get that long shot kind of makes me worried about this Subpar defense.
Yeah, it was the defense play was just brilliant. Everything overall. Cannot wait for this third game. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll be going right into round 4 here. Remember, we did already get a win from Subpar and 2 wins from Valiants here. So again, this is a best of 3. Valiants needs to get a goal there and only needs to get one more win to win out this series here.
I'd be sweating if I was in Subpar right now. They really need to clutch up this win to get to a neck and neck. Looks like they are doing the slingshot trick. Looks like Quit is taking that, bouncing off the geometry. Gonna pass straight up to Jack New, but ooh, just misses it midair. Gotta hate when that happens.
Yeah, I feel like they are relying on this slingshot rollout to give them the goal, but they haven't been able to really capitalize and get good passes off of the slingshots there. Does get picked up by the defender here on the Subpar defense as Slip sends it over to Plunger. Goes in for the double pass. Nugs can't finish it though, as it does get picked up by the defenders and almost cleared out here.
Looks like Nugs is taking possession of the ball. Looks like they're going to be bouncing that straight up on the clock. Looks like they do have possession of the ball. Boom, that straight onto the other side. Could be anybody. It looks like it is going to be intercepted by Slip. Slip's rushing to the goal. Could this be another score for them? Going to pass straight back to his teammate. Passing and teamwork is aim of the game here as Nugs does take possession. Passing straight back to his teammate.
Yeah, this back and forth has been going on for a hot minute here as Quiet somehow just taking the time and trying to get around those Valiant defenders and players there. Slip coming down now, looking for potential offensive options. Sends over to Plunge there. Can they finish it? Yes, they can. That's going to be another point on the board for the Valiants attack. And Subpar, I hate to say it, now it seems like the name might be ringing a little too true here.
Yeah, we are really in the nitty-gritty of this match here. Looks like Plunge is going to be plunging that. But, oh, with the long shot, is it going to hit the rim? It's going to roll in!
What a goal.
What is that? I've lost the count of long shots coming out from Valiants here. And, you know, putting on my analyst hat, I'm wondering, Subpar, what are you doing with your defense? You got to adjust with these backlines. That or your attack has just been too aggressive. You're not able to adjust for those long shots.
They really can't adjust for those long shots. I really recommend they have somebody in the back end right there. Looks like they are playing, but looks like the goal is just open as a bird. They're just going to be walking. Oh, will they be walking that in? Pass! Straight in! Yikes! Yikes.
Oh, 4-0. I mean, we are getting very dangerously close to potential mercy situation again. I mean, we had seen already a 6-0 from the previous round here. It doesn't matter. As I say that, Subpar gets a goal there. And, you know, Cass's curse really seems to come alive sometimes in Orion Drift.
Actually starts in.
It's they did get a point onto the board, but can they keep this? But could they make this brilliant comeback? Oh, talk about long shot! Ow! Too far now, Martini. They're coming back. They had enough.
Definitely 2 for 2. They heard us talking a little too much smack against the Subpar players here, and they're definitely responding in a good form here. 4-2. They're still down 2 goals here, but hey, we had seen a Subpar, I think, get 2 goals in about a minute or less. So it doesn't mean it's impossible for them to come back here, as they do send that deep there, but it's going to be picked up by Slip in the back line. And it's the difference we've seen, right, between Valiants and Subpar. Valiants tends to have that backline player consistently.
Consistently, indeed. It looks like March is trying to get that possession into the ball. Going straight up. Could this be a goal into the goal? Oh, almost just hitting that rim right back. But just going back to the Subpar side. Could this be another in? Could this be a long shot? But somebody was just there to save it.
Yeah, it does get picked up by the Valiants defense there. They read that for sure. Subpar now having to respond as Nugs trying to pick it up. Tries to go for the shot there. Was so close. Missed it by, we're talking inches at this point. Looks like the regrab coming out here off of Jakunt as they are looking for potential passing options here as they go down the arena. Sends it across over to Skittles. They can't quite follow it up, unfortunately, and it does get stuck on the Valiants goal side at this point.
I really gotta say, Martini, I really think they are reading those like between the passes, and that's really effective. They're learning on how they play and what their weaknesses are. But speak of it, another goal from Subpar. It's getting a little heated here, Martini. It's getting pretty close.
They're cooking, they're boiling, whatever metaphor you want to use in terms of heating up here. Subpar is doing it, but it's 30 seconds left in the round. Valiants has possession here. At this point, I'm almost inclined to say, can Valiants just hold and maintain the ball possession as long as possible in order to force Subpar to lose out this round?
Could this go into overtime here? Skittles does take possession of the ball, rushing straight over to the goal. Oh, trying to juke that, but going back to the Valiant side. Not much time left. The aim of the game is just to keep time on your side. Oh! Man, with the W.
This, you know, that was hard to watch. It was so close for these subpar players. I think at the end there, it ended up being too much pressure on that player. I don't know if you noticed that player had a 1v3, 1v2 situation. They tried to force that shot in there. Unfortunately, obviously, they couldn't quite juke around those defenders, because the defenders on the Valiant side are doing a good job, right? Not like, let's give them their flowers, doing a great job here. And I think that's really helped them in this current game. And I think Subpar, they just kind of been careful about that last play there. We could have potentially been seeing an overtime here.
Yeah, it could have been overtime, but overall, I think Subpar did really great. Really crushing those other teams, but Valiant just being the king of this match here. That was just beautiful, Martini.
Yeah, Valiants put such a good fight up. I was a little worried from them at first, because we had seen such great gameplay from Subpar in that first couple rounds there. They'd win at least one round themselves here, but Valiant's definitely locked in the last two, right? We've seen a mercy in the previous round here, and this current one wasn't quite a mercy, but it got pretty close, right? I think it was almost 1 or 2 goals off from being a mercy there.
Did do a lot of mercies, for sure. It was brilliant on how they played with their chemistry and their offense and their defensive play. Gotta say, Subpar's defensive play was a little low. If I could recommend, I'd recommend the step up on that offensive play and have somebody on that back. That
backline, I think, is what was killing Subpar. I mean, that previous round, the 6-0 round, I think it was what, 2-3, almost half of those goals, I believe, were long shots. It was just hammering them in terms of how they were playing here. But unfortunately, that is going to be it for them. But we will have to check out the bracket pretty soon here. I'm not sure about the point differential. Remember, Subpar was first place, so even though they lost this one, they might have been able to scrape by and win out second place, right? So it's something to consider here. These two teams are basically fighting to be in the top 2, so we'll see which teams do move on, as the mods will do the point differentials here, and we'll be picking up the next set of matches going into the semifinals, and not too soon. But we'll be going to a quick ad break, and we'll see y'all hopefully pretty soon.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody's
Go.
Spud in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match stage. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody's
Go.
Spud in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match stage. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn.
Welcome back. It'll be a pretty quick game here. We have Aiden and Ghibli Bob now joining me on a stream B here. Hopefully y'all have a great time, but we will be getting started pretty soon here between Vicious and IVNA. Finally going into the playoffs here, and they are already getting started here.
Yeah, they are. So it's going to be in the hands of Condog B over on, I believe it's Vicious. It is Vicious. And it's a pass over now. It's going to be picked up here by Matthew. IV is going to push that one back. JD is here. Pushing it forward. Kind of a lot of back and forth right now. But Condog B going to push up for that one, followed by Matthew. Matthew will grab that one for just a moment. Condog B pushing that one all the way up. Trying to hit Kotetsa. Good shot there from Nadash. Gets stopped though and pushed down.
Yeah, beautiful defense there coming out from the Vicious players as it's still very much in play though. IVNA try to punish them and keep this possession very much on their side. Nadash takes a shot there. That's going to be a great one coming out from IVNA.
Yeah, it is a great start there for IV. Nadash pulling the Kiwi, waiting with that that stack, trying to grab the disc. Or the ball. Oh, God. There it is again. All right, it's Sweet Tooth coming in for a shot. Piggles with the stop. Coming back. Condog B. Quick slap over to the left side. Nobody's home, though. Sweet Tooth will put a hand on it. Instead, it's JD is here. JDG is here. Able to intercept that one. Clear it over to the left side. It's Nadash now. Moving over on the nest. Trying to find the shot. Sweet Tooth with the save. And the clear over to the right. Once again, Mozzie with it. Trying to take possession, trying to take advantage, put it back in, but Matthew taking his time, putting it over to the middle.
Yeah, we're seeing this defense coming out from the Vicious players, trying to force IVNA to have a bad hand here. But they are going for the backboard. Pass there does get connected, but it doesn't quite get finished, unfortunately, by the IVNA players here. Looks like we're going to be seeing Nadash coming off the top here. Does get tackled, but their defender, their teammate is going to be there for the follow-up as it is very much going to be in play. Sweet Tooth picks it up, moving forward, tries to get a pass. JDG does get defended, and it's still going to be on their side here as Nadash gets that possession at this point. And IVNA has been a good job, I think, at keeping the ball on the Vicious side here. It's got to be very hard in terms of this defensive play.
Yeah, fighting really hard for possession right now as Piggles picks that one up, trying to push it forward. Once again, still kind of in the zone of Vicious, not able to really get any wiggle room yet. But JDG is here on that back line, trying to find the shot. Mozzie going for it. The stop from Sweet Tooth. Once again, Nadash going to go for a reset to Piggles. Piggles now moving it forward on the line. It's Mozzie. Mozzie has a hand on it, trying to wait for open teammates. Condog B with the defense. Pushing it over to Matthew. Matthew, pass over to Kotetsa. Kotetsa not able to put a hand on it. Does fly back over to IVI's zone. Pushing really hard for it now. JDG is here. Gonna move that one back and around. And it's Piggles and it's Nah. Back over to the middle line. It's Sweet Tooth now. Going for a pass over to nobody. JDG is here. We'll recover on the side of IVI. It's in the middle now.
Yeah, this has probably been the longest stretch of time I think we've had between these two teams where no one has scored, right? IVNA already up 1 goal here against Vicious, and they're going to be up another goal now, too, as they do get that goal there. And that's going to be a really rough position right now for Vicious as they're down not 1, but 2 goals now. They're going for the slingshot play off of Sweet Tooth here.
You know, yesterday over on the main channel, we had a match that did not get any goals until overtime, which was very fun to cast. So much fun.
That's crazy.
Anyways, it's in the hands of Sweet Tooth now. Moving it around. Piggles will get a quick slap over. Sweet Tooth gonna move back a little bit. Ooh, the open goal once again. Nadash gonna take advantage of that. IVI now up by 3.
IVNA, I mean, talk about shutting down Vicious at this point, up 3-0. We haven't seen a good response yet from the Vicious players. I'm hoping, unless they can come back with 3 goals this current round here, they gotta take a break on that on their break there and take a little bit of time, talk about their strategy and how they can adjust right now to the IVNA attack, because it has been doing such a good job against Vicious.
Yeah, I don't think they were really warmed up earlier when I cast them, but they're absolutely doing insane right now with the defense and the offense both in combination. All their teammates are like a well-oiled machine right now, and Vicious, I think they're just starting to warm up again. But Condog B now moving it forward down the line, trying to find it. Mozzie with the stop. going down once again over to the right side, pushing it even further down middle. It's going to be a race for it now, moving all the way down the line. It's Kotetsa with it. Having that one really pressured by Piggles. Piggles over to Condog B. JD is here, stopping that one, pushing it even further down the line. There's so many pushes. It's crazy. But Condog B with it. JDG is here. Kotetsa with it once again.
Yeah, so much back and forth right now between these two teams here, but I will say that's actually a good thing for IVNA considering they are up by 3 goals at this point, and that's going to be it for this current round here. Is IVNA winning 3-0 for round 1.
You know, I gotta say, Martini, I love it when two really offensive-sided teams battle against each other, and that's exactly what you're seeing here between IV and Vicious. But what's really fascinating about it is that Vicious is a really aggressive team, but they've been kind of passive in this. And I think that's because IV has been applying just even more pressure than Vicious can apply. And Vicious are starting to slip up, right? They've left their goals open a few times, and that's really when IV got in and scored their big points. So Vicious is really going to have to lock in their defense and get a little bit more aggressive. I think if they can control IV on their half of the arena and keep the battle close to the IV goal, there may be a solid chance for Vicious to get a round back. But so far, they've got some work to do.
Do you think it's possible for them to really mix this up, though, coming into round 2?
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these teams are capable of really good things, but, well, IV almost tried to lower the morale a little bit further.
What a crazy start. Coming from IV there. Absolutely lightning coming to that first joust, but it's in the hands of Kotetsa now, trying to get it away from Piggles to Condog B. Condog B just gonna slap that one across. Didn't really have much time there, covered by 2 defenders. Instead, it's gonna fly down to Matthew. Matthew going for a pass over to Logo on Sweet Tooth. It's JDG is here, going for a long shot. Kotetsa with a recovery though, and just gonna move that one down. Sweet Tooth 77 now having a hand on it.
Yeah, that long shot didn't quite work out in their favor. Kind of gave a little bit of that possession change, unfortunately for them, but that doesn't matter for IVNA as they are able to keep it very much on the Vicious side here. And that's something I've been noticing between these two teams. Vicious, it seems like they're more on the defense than they are on the attack, and that's a good thing for the IVNA players. So they gotta be watching their possession plays here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing Bob was mentioning, both these teams are very offensive coordinated, right? And the team that is just doing more offense right now is IVI. So, you know, it's really pushing Vicious into a corner. And I've said this in our last stream, but Vicious is scary when they get pushed in a corner because they will do anything to come back. And they play like a completely different team. So, Condog B, going to be moving that one forward, trying to find Sweet Tooth. Mozzie with the intercept and the stop. It's a pass all the way over now into the Vicious zone. It's picked up by JDG is here, going for the shot. Kotetsa with a quick slap over. Very light, very demure, if you will. It's a pickup now by Sweet Tooth over on the back line. Trying to move it forward past Piggles. Does get it past Piggles. Finds Matthew. Matthew having a hand on it for a second. Little bit of a fumble there, but it's picked up by JDG is here. No goalie on the back line. It's a race for it once again. Sweet Tooth will recover.
Able to get their hand on the ball here, but they're going to be having that attacker right on their back here almost immediately. Nadash gets a hand on, but it doesn't matter. Those defenders are there for the follow. Mozzie does finally get a good possession play there. Tries to go for the pass. Does have a bit of miscommunication with their teammate. Unfortunately, it's Kotetsa now tries to follow up their own clear there, but Piggles able to keep the ball again. Very much in play here. We're seeing JDG goes in for the shot. Misses. It was a little too wide, unfortunately, and it does get cleared over into Mozzie's hands. Never mind. They are going to be fighting that one out here. And it looks like the Vicious players are going to be moving down the arena. Finally goes in for the shot, but it does get picked up by JDG here. And you're right. Like, that is something I've just been seeing. IVNA has so many good and amazing opportunities. I don't know what's going on in this current round here. Both teams have been putting up such a great fight because it's been going back and forth consistently.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. You're fighting hard for it. Fighting hard for possession. No one wants to let each other score, so you're kind of putting everything into it. But both these teams are doing a phenomenal job. I think both offense and defense at the moment. Condog B now moving it forward on the right side. And he will try and find past Mozzie. Doesn't exactly get it. Mozzie fighting off 2 people right now. Doing a great job. It's now in the sewers, getting into the thick of it, if you will, for a moment there, as it's back up in the air to Kotetsa. And Kotetsa will pass to Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth gets it up above. Pickles will recover, going for the shot. Sweet Tooth is there with a quick slap to the left side.
Yeah, they're definitely going back and forth right now between these 2 teams. I'm waiting to see some kind of action. I think we haven't seen a score yet, correct me if I'm wrong, in this current round here between these 2 teams. We're already 4 minutes deep into the round here. Sweet Tooth now making some movement. Looking around for some jukes here. Does get barely past the defender, but it is very much in play here. And that ball is back onto the Vicious side. And at this point, I'm waiting to see the IVNA attack can make this one work out for themselves here, but it's looking a lot of back and forth right now. Sweet Tooth is trying to keep the ball going forward.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth really bringing it down the line, trying to find a pass over to Kotetsa. Kotetsa is going to be pressured here. Has to find another pass soon. Condog B having it, but JDG is here. Said, no, thank you. It's mine. Back in the hands of Condog B, moving it down, slapped to the floor. It gets slapped all the way to the sky this time by one of the players on IVI. It's now over into dangerous territory for IVI as Matthew goes for that shot, the save from Nadash. And it's Mozzie with a eventual clear. It doesn't exactly get all the way there, but JDG is here for the save. It's going to be moving down. A pass over. Condog B with the intercept once again. Mozzie with the steal. Steals, pass, steal. Back and forth. Very back.
friends. This game refuses.
Yeah, definitely going back and forth here. I'm waiting for something to happen. We're definitely in overtime territory at this point. Whoever can get this last goal here is going to be the one that wins out, at least for this first round or second round here. Sorry. And it's looking night and day. I'm almost wondering, did Vicious just need to warm up though coming into this first and second round now, because it looked a lot different, right? That first round was a lot more harder, I think, for the Vicious players, but this defense is looking so much better against IVNA now.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing about IV2, their defense, yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's just stopping literally anything the Vicious throws at it, which is something I don't think I've seen Vicious get stopped like this before. I've watched them quite a bit, and they're just getting stopped at every angle. But the same can be said for IVI. Vicious is doing a great job to put stops to those attempted goals and just like anything. It's so back and forth between each other. No goals being scored. Defense and offense both working at its maximum. But JDG is here. Now moving it forward. Down the line. Pickles is a pass over to Nadash, or is that Mozzie? It's one of them. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, Matthew goes in for the clear here as the ball is going to be back in the IVNA player's side. They send it over to Nadash. Can they finally capitalize on this? They do. That's going to be a first, another round win, for IVNA there as they win out that overtime against Vicious. And that was crazy, Bob.
Yeah, Martini, I've got to say I was a lot happier with the Vicious performance in this round. I said they need to keep the ball closer to the IV goal, and they did. They got a lot more aggressive this round, and it led to a lot fewer mistakes. However, you do still have to contend with the IV defense. Let me tell you, IV defense consists of stuffing 2 or more people in the goal and blocking pretty much every shot that goes into it. And even when it gets back over to the Vicious side, it's still difficult for IV to score on Vicious. However, this is a battle of attrition, these first 2 rounds. We didn't get any goals until the time expired. So these 2 teams are going to start burning each other out, and it's really going to be who can maintain their top form for longer.
I'm waiting to see what comes out between these 2 teams here. IVNA just barely eking out that last round. I mean, 1 point up against Vicious. That's got to be hurting Vicious right now. They're down 2 points. Again, this is a best of 5 series, so 1 more win for the IVNA players is going to be them going, at least not home, but going on to the next set of matches here. But Vicious, I don't think they're going to want to have that happen.
No, I don't think so either, and they're going to try and do their best to stop it in this next round and hopefully bring it to a round 4. But hey, we'll see. There's still plenty of time to go as Sweet Tooth trying to be very aggressive there and get that first goal. Matthew now having possession. JDG is here, is pushing it, And Condog B on the backline trying to find some passes. Does have Sweet Tooth and Matthew. And a shot! There we go! That's a goal for Vicious.
You know, I was watching the chat. Someone said Vicious just needs to start attacking better, and it's over for IVNA. And very much credit to, I think it's Xenos in the chat there. That is a lot of credit to the Vicious players, but I gotta say, IVNA, again, are still great players that have been consistently playing a good game here, and that's, as I'm saying that, IVNA does get another goal in hand here. And Vicious, while they have been needing to play a better attacking game, IVNA is still a force to be reckoned with.
Action restarts.
No, I definitely agree. And the round is already so different than the last. You know, both these teams have scored multiple goal or one goal each, but very quickly, unlike the last game.
Yeah, definitely night and day difference again between these couple rounds here, right? The second one went to overtime. No one scored for such a long time here. Vicious finally getting a good goal in hand here, and this is the most equal we've seen them besides that last round here. And finally, I want to see Vicious put up some just grit, right? And to the chatter, you're right. They got to do a little bit better on these attacks because they just have not been able to capitalize and get any of these goals to really slip in.
Yeah, you know, Koteta now having a hand on it. Yeah, no, the capitalization on the attacks, you know, it's there, but the defense is just so strong on both teams. It's just putting a stop to it. I know we keep talking about defense over and over, but it's like, it's such an important thing because there would be a ton of goals without defense. And I think both teams' defenses are just a step above to normal. As Mozzie gets past, what was that, 3 people? Just to score there.
They slipped right in, had a beautiful carve off the side there, takes the shot, and that's going to be a big deal for them as Vicious takes that slingshot up, goes in. Condog tries to take a shot, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Not Condog, sorry, Vicious as a whole, not just Condog. I'm not ripping off of one player, but Vicious as a whole has had a couple times where they had a great opportunity. Yeah, well, yeah, but Vicious as a whole, right, has had great opportunities, and they just couldn't quite capitalize on him. As Mozzie takes a long shot there, that's going to be another one coming in for the IVNA players here.
Yeah, so me and Bob saw this in an earlier match. You know, you're focusing so much on offense, sometimes you just forget about the defense. You don't have anyone back, and a lot of these teams have just been capitalizing on those long shots. If you can make them, take them. But Sweet Tooth now moving forward, trying to pull out some of those defenders. Looks like he's pulled out quite a few of them. 2 of them are down. It's a 1v4 for just a moment there as the defenders do come back, but it's in the hands of Nadash. Going over and up. Matthew on the back line, picking that one up to Condog B. Condog B gonna hang up on the halo, moving it down over to the bridge. The bridge, crossing over to Matthew. Matthew going for the shot. It's almost in, but Mozzie with the save.
Again, those goals have just not been able to work out for these Vicious players, and it sucks, right? We see them set it up, we see the vision, we see the setup, we see the passing, we see they're so close within getting those goals, and it just has not been going in for them, unfortunately. IVNA, though, definitely feeling a lot better and different today, because it has been consistently working out a lot better for them. Going for a great shot there, does get a little picked off, though, by the defenders, and Vicious is going to be happy about that, but 1 minute left in the round, and if they can't get a couple more goals in hand here, we're going to be going a little early here as IVNA almost getting a long shot there.
Yeah, they do almost get that long shot, but it's more sorry, I lost my words. It's picked up by Gotesta. Quick slap over to Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth now having this one. Vicious trying to make some more pushes, try and get some more goals. Passing over to the right side. Nobody's home though, so maybe a bit of miscommunication on the Vicious side. But Piggle's gonna move that one forward, up to the left side. Matthew will recover, trying to find more passes over to Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, great passing plays coming out here from the Vicious players. They are connecting, but they're not doing much more here. It's going back and forth here. And that's going to be a great clear coming out from the IVNA players, wasting Vicious's time. 10 seconds about left in the clock here. We do see a tackle coming out there, and it's going to be a bad one for them there as Vicious, unfortunately, not able to capitalize on their goals, letting IVNA winning out that last one, Bob.
Yeah, Martini, I mean, what we saw there was kind of fatigue from Vicious. I think they've just gotten exhausted from that round. And I actually kind of predicted that this is what we were going to have happen, because when you have one of these rounds where it goes past overtime and nobody scores, that tires out these players. Those battles of attrition are quite demanding. These players are constantly moving, playing at 100%, 110% really. And once that round concludes, it can be very difficult to bring yourself back up to that form when you've been committing for so long. But IV are disciplined. They're a very disciplined team because no matter how many ways the ball went, they were always there in their goal, playing strong defense, playing strong offense, and ultimately they were able to find the gaps in the Vicious defense because Vicious, they're still a difficult team to beat, but they did leave those gaps because they just weren't able to maintain that pace as long as IV did, and ultimately it turned into a critical success for IV.
Is there anything you think Vicious could have worked on there, right? We had seen 3-0 in the first one, 1-0, 3-1 on that last one from IVNA. And I'm wondering, can Vicious have done anything differently here overall? Or maybe IVNA was just bound to win?
So in round 2, what we saw was that I really liked from the Vicious defense is Sweet Tooth 77, who would sit towards the center court back half of the Vicious goal so that if the ball did go over to their side, Sweet Tooth was able to quickly recover it or at least get into the goal quickly enough to block that attempt. But I think in that third and final round, we saw Sweet Tooth push up with the rest of the team, and nobody was really tending to the goal when it was needed. And IV were able to use that again to thread the needle and get in and beat Vicious in this round. So if Vicious is looking for pointers to improve their performance, they've got to be a little bit better about maintaining defensive discipline, right? You can't just leave the goal unattended because that's when the long shots get in. That's when that secret play where you can get the ball across the arena in a matter of seconds is going to be the end of your team.
I find what the most interesting thing in this game, honestly, is ball possession, right? It's such a low-scoring game. And consistently, we're going back and forth, back and forth. I think there's a good moment where me and Aiden, right, we're going back and forth, talking about what was going on, and nothing was happening, technically, right?
Yeah.
Because it was so much turnover from both sides there, and it's kind of crazy to see IVNA and Vicious really go at it here, but in the end, IVNA did win this one out. They'll be going on to, I believe, the grand finals, right? So we'll be converging, I believe, into the final stream pretty soon here. But unfortunately, we'll be going on. I think that's it, actually. Are we done here? That is it. Wow. Unfortunately, then, thank you all for coming out today and enjoying the B stream here. We definitely enjoy having people come in, the chatters in the chat here. Thanks for coming out and watching the VRML Pioneer Cup Day 2. We appreciate seeing you here all here today. And, of course, remember to subscribe and leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. Hopefully, we can see you all in the next cast. Apparently, in 2 weeks, there might be an Ignition Cup. I might have maybe heard about a thing, I don't know if you all have heard about it. Yeah, there might be an Ignition Cup coming up in a couple weeks here, but hey, that'll be it for our stream. Definitely go over and check out the main stream. I believe the game is still going on, and on top of that, it will be hosting the grand final, so we'll see y'all over there in a couple minutes.
Orion Drift VRML is brought to you by Another Axiom, Helga, the esports manager. Thanks for watching VRML.